What's going on, people? The NFL season is here, which means it's also the end of Hard Knocks. So, on this week's episode of Overtime, presented to you by Technical Foul Podcast, we're going to be covering the last three episodes of Overtime. So, episode three, I said of Overtime. Excuse me. The last three episodes of Hard Knocks. So, we're going to be talking about episode 3, 4, and 5 in this week's show. So, without further ado, we're just going to get right on into it.
What's happening, Captain? It's your boy TIMKINZ, the number 3, aka Ass Catcher, aka Mr. Give It To Me. Moving and grooving around this motherfucker. How y'all doing this afternoon, evening, good morning, wherever you at, whatever time.
I'm the RJ.
Only known as
The RJ.
And I'm Camille, point guard of the crew, the real life Tifa Lockhart, the girl next door. You know, holding it down for all the women who love sports.
And it's your boy K Harris, the gentleman.
The gentleman.
The everyday gentleman.
24/7.
But better known as K Diddy.
Take that. Now, as we said, we're going to be covering Hard Knocks. So, episode 3, it's a while ago. One thing I want to say, I'll wake up to it was more relevant. So, episode 3 kicked off really good speech from Coach Dan Campbell, talking about getting the last bit of that losing off of him. He had little props. He had the pants with the dust in it. He was flopping it around. We got to get rid of this. We got to get it off of us.
I love him, dude.
That's a good analogy, man. He is a good coach. I love him too.
Yeah.
But he's right. Like that line between winning and losing is very thin. Like he's like, y'all doing stuff and you're dropping interceptions, you're fumbling play, like you fumbling games away. We got to get rid of that to take that next step. It's a no lies detected for me.
Yeah, I like his passion.
Yes.
He's a very enthusiastic gentleman.
That's what that comedian was saying in that episode too. When he came in, he was doing his best Hulk Hogan impression of him and everything. I was like, "Who do you think he is, man?"
Hey, I was throwing tomatoes at his monkey ass, bro. Tomato. I get it done.
I like you got a chuckle out of me.
He had a few.
He had a lot of misses though. I'm sorry.
Okay, so on the scale of 1 to 5, in your comic opinion, what would you rate? What was his name? Josh Adams, I believe. Let me look. How funny is he to you, Ken?
I'll give him a 3. I ain't gonna
Josh
do him
Adams,
like
averagely funny.
Yeah, he average.
And what are you on this scale?
Oh, I'm a good 4.5. I ain't the funniest, but I'm definitely above average.
4.5 is above average.
Yeah, out of 5.
Out of 5.
Out of 5?
Out of 4.5 is well above average, nigga. That's almost perfect.
Yeah, I'm damn near. I'm not perfect though. Damn near. Damn near. I mean, we still got Chappelle.
What does that Denzel mean, bro? I wish I had
a few. We got a few cats out there that's funnier to me, but you know.
He said, "Ain't that many."
Yeah.
But he did sound like Eric when he was talking about them doing them up downs. He was like, "Coach ain't really do all them up downs." And that's what Eric was saying.
He was struggling.
Yeah,
he was cheating, bro.
Yeah, I also had the thought where he was like, yeah, he put on that the wrist tape for the effect.
Hey, as soon as you got done, man, my wrist. I fucked my wrist.
Yeah, I messed my wrist up. Yeah, I was in my house and I just tripped over the dog and
All right, AD. Like, chill out.
But it was, I mean, the episode was interesting. We got to learn a little bit more about some of the role players, some of the guys really trying to make the roster in episode 3. Running back Craig Reynolds. They had the scene where they cut to him like in there with his brother on the FaceTime, and it's like, oh, okay, like, you know, we sitting here, you know, trying to figure it out, like, okay, like they close, they ribbing each other, they love each other, okay, I feel it. And then they cut him, see he's in jail, and it's like, oh, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, when they set it up, I'm like, I started Googling, I'm like, who's Eric Reynolds? Like, cause, you know, they said like, you know, his brother played football. I'm like, oh, I just assumed he's the brother of like an NFL player or something. No,
right,
he's not.
But that was tough. I was like, it was super jarring. Where I was like, I did not expect to see this happen in this way right now. But like, I feel the story. I understand. It makes sense to me. Like,
Nah, bro, that was a curveball, like something out of a thriller.
Out of a thriller.
I thought his brother's like Josh Reynolds or some shit like that. So I'm expecting him to pop up on the phone or something. It's like Eric Reynolds. I was like, oh, maybe that's big bro.
Big bro.
No relation. No relation.
That's quite the swerve, and bro stopped something. Yeah, I'm glad you stopped smiling. I was like, oh,
like, yeah.
Like, I understand.
Okay. And when he was talking to his brother, he's like, yeah, man, it's just hard. You know, I'm in this room. And it's like, I'm in this room all day. And his brother just sitting there like, I understand. I'm like, man, what? Like, all right, but
those situations are hard because it's like you try not to be insensitive, but because you just be talking, but then
you end up being insensitive on accident.
Mm-hmm. But then if it's your brother, you feel like you can just talk anyway. You know,
but it's always my thing with the insensitivity. Like, okay, I didn't mean it, but at the same time, you knew I didn't mean it like that. Why would you take it that way?
Yeah, we family, so you already
it goes both ways.
Me. Yeah, you're right.
And it seemed to your point, like he didn't really take it all that hard. Like he turned that into a chance to give his brother a big motivational speech. Like, yo, like do something with your life. Keep moving forward. Get it done. Lil bro was listening, at least in this episode. Like his path to the Lions was, you know, looking pretty good. And
he had a couple good runs to that preseason game.
And they also highlighted the offensive tackle. I think his name is Obina. I'm not gonna say his name is Easy. I was like, that's a cold last name.
Yeah.
Easy.
Except for when you're offensive lineman, like you don't want to be known as easy. Like
my man said he was only playing for 7 years.
He moved to America 7 years ago, and that's when he first heard of football. Like,
that's nuts.
Came over
the
NFL. Like,
when they mentioned, when his wife mentioned the fact like his parents don't even understand exactly what he is got going on over here. Like they just know he's playing some sport, but they don't understand like the magnitude of it. And he hasn't seen his parents since he left and got to America 7 years ago. It's like I'm really rooting for this kid. Like I was like really like I hope he makes this team.
That's a wild. If you really think of like that's a wild transition within less than a decade. Within the decade of you moving to America, not only did you change countries, move to a whole new place, got whole different laws, rules, things like that, try to work your way up through that normal corporate ladder. Now all of a sudden, you're about to be a professional in the National Football League, one of the select top, what was it, 15% or some shit like that? There's millions of people that play football. You moved over here within 7 years, never played the sport, and they're trying out at this point for a NFL professional squad.
I mean, that is the honest story.
Wild.
Spirit is it's talent. Like that's not easy to do.
That's kind of like what he was saying at, like when he was breaking down like the two groups of players that they're looking at. We got the people that are like the tryhards that do everything right that might not have like the physical tools, and it's like we need players like that. But then there are also the ones that are like just naturally gifted, and y'all need to kind of step it up because y'all need to show us that it's something in there that we can get out. So. You know, like those are two camps essentially. Like, because if you get people that combine it together, like they're definitely on the team. You know what I mean? Like, those are your stars. Like the people that work, like you know, they're on the bubble, but also have like the natural talent to make them superstars.
he had me cracking up at one point because they was on the line and they was like, kill. He looked over like, kill what? I was like, no, don't kill the quarterback.
Could you imagine being the other offensive lineman? Like as soon as that, like you're in a game situation and the guy next to you says, kill what?
You look dead at him. You gonna look dead at him because dude did. He turned his head, looked at him, was like,
But to your point about like English not being his first language, and then that being not just slang, but like a specific like jargon, right? Like growing up knowing English, like kill means like okay, it means like dead something, but like yeah, I get it. Like it's a culture shock and a language barrier.
Yeah.
They
also highlighted undrafted wide receiver Khalil Pimpleton. During this episode, he got to show off his little juggling skills.
Like the first time he called him pimp, I'm like, that's racist. Because he called him pimp. They told us what his name was. I'm like, you can't call no black man pimp in 2022.
That's pimp.
What up, pimp?
Is this?
I'm gonna start singing 50 Cent. You keep playing with me. What up, blood?
My man's a hella drops, though, bro. Like that's
definitely got butterfingers.
Less time juggling, more time on the jug machine.
Bro,
he
was dropping the balls even juggling.
Oh man.
Yeah, it helped with my hand-eye coordination. You know what else does? Catching footballs.
God damn, bro. I like that kid, man. I'm sorry.
I do too. But I'm saying, like, you know, like you a wide receiver, you got to be able to catch. Like
he a corner now. You better be a corner. Goddamn.
I don't know what episode it was. He was in the game and dropped it, and the guy was like, "It's all right, bro." Man, that ain't good.
It was David Block. It was a perfect pass. Hit that man.
Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah.
It was a perfect pass.
Like even his tryout with the Giants, like he was dropping passes.
He was dropping every goddamn thing. We're like, come on, bro.
He got like what? Hey, that's just what they showed us. We don't even really know how many actually.
No. Even the coach said, like, "Hey, you had some drops." Like,
but you came back from it. It shows resilience. It's like, have you been watching Hard Knocks like that?
You've been watching like everybody that done came on this show since episode 3. Yeah, last week y'all was, and this week y'all was like, bro. Okay, y'all gonna watch the show and come on the next week and start talking about what we did last week.
I feel like another highlight of episode 3 was around Jamal Williams and how he handled that joint practice with the Colts. Because we as Packer fans over here, well, 3 out of 4 of us.
Nah, all 4.
Oh, come on, man. Here we go.
Like, we know he's funny. Like, he's super personable, but, like, dude turned up.
He's passionate, like, in all ways.
Yeah, he hella passionate. I love it.
I don't know. Like, I feel like if he wasn't a starter and, like, an integral part of that team, like, that was the example of what Dan Campbell was talking about he didn't want in the practice. Like, go up to the line, but don't cross the line. Like, he crossed the line a couple times.
Yeah, he did.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't know, because during that practice, he wasn't wrong. Like,
he was extra.
I'm saying, like, he was like I get it being competitive and like talking shit, but like then he was like going out of his way to like antagonize people like the entire time. Like if the other person had retaliated, like that would have started a brawl. Like it's just the other person had self-control because like he was ready to go.
He seemed like he's always ready to go if he ain't on the same team as him.
And while he was sitting there hollering, Coach Deuce Staley had no voice. He was cussing him out in whispers.
I'd have like, hey, he would have been mad at me. I'd be like, what? What? Huh?
He'd have cussed you out something serious. Get your motherfucker out of here.
All them whispers. I thought you.
I can hear. It's okay. I got something for your ass.
Okay.
But they ended up playing the Colts. You sound just like them. They played the Colts in the preseason game after those joint practices, and our quarterback from last week, the week before this one, who was messing up, David Blau, he redeemed himself a bit in week 3 in episode 3. I'll say.
Throws.
Mm-hmm.
They won. I can't say Campbell. Jesus, Dan Campbell gave a speech that I could relate to at the end of that game where he said, "Winning is winning. I don't really care what you're winning at. It always feels good. Like a win is a win. Like I could be having the dumbest competition, and if I beat you, I'm gonna feel some type of way. Like my godson Tim's son, he was like, "Let's do a little foot race," and I said, "Okay." He took off before I took off, but who won? Me. It was a child. I didn't care. I won.
Hey, he got you back later. Break the ice.
Oh, fam.
Malik is like undefeated in like 30 matches on break the ice.
Oh, he be cheating. First of all, he cheat at the game. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna beat him in that too. When I do, I'm gonna celebrate.
You over here working toes. We all 30 trying to beat his ass.
But he went funny. Before we move on, he didn't want to play Tim and Don't Break the Ice. But he played me. He played his other TT. Got to Tim. He said, "No, thank you."
I like
he knew y'all was light work.
Right. He's like, "I've never played them before." And he's like, "Dad, I want to still be the champ. I ain't trying to play Dad right now." But before we move on to episode 4, did y'all have any other thoughts around episode 3?
No, I have a question at the end after all 5 of these, though.
Okay.
So it is in relation to 3, I guess.
You want to ask it now, or you want to wait?
Oh wait, I did have I had notes on my note phone.
My note phone.
Oh, so just a couple of them. Jamal gonna fuck somebody up conversation between Randall and Deuce Staley. He was sitting there watching him, and he was throwing that ball with his hands. Like, he gonna fuck somebody up, bro. Like that was legit. Like, that's a legit old conversation that we be in the back like, hey, look at him, look his goofy ass. He gonna look at somebody crying, and then his ass gonna be writing a check. I thought that was funny. I was surprised to see how many passes that he dropped, though, knowing that he was over in Green Bay. He's one of our pass catchers. Like, he had that many, like, just from that one episode. I'm like, God damn, Jamal, what? You can go to Detroit immediately fit in, don't you? Like, damn.
That could just be editing too. Like, they're trying to show like how bad the practice was. Like, those could have been his only 2 drops, and they just used it.
Fair point. Same point we used it with Pimp, except the opposite way.
Yeah. Craig Reynolds' story with his brother was quite the turn. David Blau made some great throws. Pimp is slipping. And 18-play drive is wild.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that drive was nuts.
I was like, bro, how many plays?
That drive was
I know. Easy was exhausted after that because they were talking about his cardio wasn't great at the beginning of camp.
Boy, 18 plays.
That's he played every snap of it too.
That's a great drive, though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's probably a quarter and a half?
That's a big drive.
I mean, it could.
Then half a quarter. It has to be 18. You know how long that clock running? It ain't even a fourth.
Yeah, but you said a quarter and a half. Like, no, it's a half a quarter.
Half a quarter.
Accurate. It's a big ass difference.
Hey, 18 plays is a long ass time, bro. 40 is on the clock.
Yeah, but 7.5 minutes versus 20 something.
All right. Episode 4. Four. Hard Knocks. Man, this episode was it's kind of hard to watch certain episodes when you know who's getting cut.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, dang, like, okay, like, I really like you, but come to find out you got waived. Like, the narrator's talking like, it's his chance to approve. Serve the spot on this team. It's like the two we were just talking about in episode 3, Easy and Pimp. Like, it was like episode 4, it was more backstory on both of them. And that's the episode where he was getting his juggling classes and he's talking about like, yeah, it helps with my hand-eye coordination. But as Eric said during the episode 3 part, like, maybe the jug machine would have been a little bit more helpful. So, but That's the only thing with the show being it's going to be a week behind training camp, so like you're going to know some of the outcomes already before you see it, unless you're somebody who pays no attention to the NFL whatsoever. Oh, so you were surprised?
The only one I saw that got cut was Blau.
Yeah. I was like, damn, and that's Pip's fault.
Why you say it's Pip's fault?
I mean, it might be easy for he got him hurt in that last game.
I was just saying he was getting lit up, bro.
Easy got him smoked.
He was
Pip
getting lit up, bro.
My man's didn't look good at all. He couldn't. There's no way.
What can you do? You getting hit that?
Only look good was the actual throwing motion. His throwing motion looks good. You can't judge nothing else. Ain't nobody catching passes, so you can't say that. Damn, it was good placement, but damn, can he catch? Ain't nobody catching him. He ain't blocking for him. The running backs they trying to do their shit, but it's still Detroit. Like, Blau ain't had no. He ain't had no shot, bro. He tried.
Blau was sitting there getting blown up.
Man,
Blau every time.
This man on it. He on his back as soon as he called hike.
Kill what?
Kill Blau. That game.
Kill the quarterback. Smoked his ass.
Hey, he was like, "Come on, guy, come on, man." Hey, he was so pissed. Come on, man.
She golly willigers.
Son of a biscuit eating bulldog.
Liquor.
Was episode 4 when they had the players lay in practice?
Yes.
That was fun. And it shows that, like these guys can't, like, you set up a structure for them, like they can kind of run it themselves at some point. And they kind of like feel like it, like, well, I mean, I'm saying like it allows them to take on their own leadership, like kind of figure it out amongst themselves, not just having somebody from the top tell them what to do. It's kind of like y'all work through it, because like when you're on the field, like, yes, we're calling in the plays, but you kind of have to have some type of cohesion to kind of come together on your own. Like, that's the mark of a great team.
Yeah, and I mean, what Dan Campbell's trying to do, he was like, I want these players to know, like, it's their team. Like, have some ownership in what we're building here. Like, y'all run this today. All the assistant coaches, they ain't going to be here, but, he was there just kind of observing, blowing the whistle, keeping the practice moving along a little bit. But they had the little walkie-talkies. They was sitting there calling the plays, running the setting everything up. Like, they ran the whole practice themselves. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah. And also that's a good opportunity for like the Tim Boyles of the world to kind of show like, yeah, I can be a coach someday. You know what I mean? Like it allows you to flex different muscles. Like maybe I'm not the most talented player on the field, but like I got a mind for it. And if playing don't work out, like I can come in and be an assistant coach at some point.
Shoot, maybe with the Lions, given the way they be hiring, Dan Campbell be hiring former players. So
that's dope though. I like that though.
Former players hire former players.
I mean, he really did it. Like, I don't.
Whole staff.
Dang near.
Until like we finally met the offensive coordinator. It's like when
they starting talking about cuts, now we see him like, what?
Right. Who the fuck is Ben Johnson?
What though? Like,
where you been, bro? We halfway through the season, almost over. We're about done. Who is this one?
He coordinated the whole. I thought, like, listen, like I thought it was Deuce. Like you sitting there, like, oh,
right,
I did too. Yeah,
like that Deuce against Aaron Glenn, right?
Yeah,
he was the man calling plays, making sure they lose these games.
We're not making sure they lose the game.
Here you go. Oh shit!
You going hard on them like they the Bears or something?
Oh, come on, dog.
No,
that was uncalled.
They like the pity. They legit get pity from me.
I know. I'm saying, like, why you keep throwing shots at them if you pity them? Like,
because, bro, I don't want them to think that. So, I was watching some game last year. I think it was when it was going against the Eagles, and I'm like, y'all don't got a shot. Y'all don't got a chance to win, bro. And I think that was that one game that they was fumbling. Like, it was like a fumble, then a pick, then it was something else, like back to back to back. I'm like, listen, bro, come to grips with who y'all are.
Did last season? Let's see. Hold on.
Last season was the year you said they weren't going to win a game, though, right?
That is.
And it is. And they won 2, and then they stopped winning again.
2 more.
They won 1, and then they won the next week, and then they didn't win again.
Last year, when they played the Eagles, they lost 44-6.
Yeah, that's when I was talking to him. I was like, listen, understand who y'all. No. We gotta understand who y'all are. Just understand, that y'all not like that. And once y'all do, y'all will be so much better. So this year, y'all are better than last year on paper. It looks like y'all better than last year. And
It will be. They'll finish with a better record than the Bears. And that's no shade. I'm just saying.
Right.
Hey man,
I got the Bears winning 5. What, they gonna win 5?
Then they gonna win 6. If you got them 5, they gonna win 6. Then they gonna beat y'all twice. 2 of them, something. I don't know.
Well, what's the jumping? What's that? 400% in win percentage or some shit? Like they go from 2 to 6 wins.
Hey,
bro.
Before we go
the
into
Lions
the break,
fought though. The Lions, they fought last year, even though they wasn't winning like that. They was fighting to the end. So some of them gonna turn around to W's though, for sure.
And a lot of them were unlucky. Like they had a few unlucky losses where it's like, dog, he really hit a 60-yard field goal on y'all. Like, oh, well, hey, like them's the breaks, and that's part of what Dan Campbell was talking about in the last episode, where he's like, yo, it's a very thin line. Like it's just little mistakes that we make, and we end up here. That's why they won 13 games or lost 13 games last year. 13-1 was the record because they had that ugly tie.
Yeah.
Wasn't that against the Browns?
Steelers, I believe.
I thought it was Pittsburgh.
I think it's the Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that was an ugly game because neither one of them wanted it in the fourth. I remember that game. Neither one of them wanted that damn game.
We're going to have to take a quick break really quick, though. But when we come back, guys, I want to talk about one, the preseason game that we saw in episode 4, but also being able to kind of go into the back room and seeing the coaches talking about the players as they're getting ready to like make some cuts, make some decisions ahead of week 5's episode where, you finally see what the final cuts were. Although by the time this episode coming out, you already knew who most of those cuts were. So if you're listening on the Good News Radio app, we will be back in about 3 minutes or so. If you're watching on YouTube, you won't notice too much of a thing. We're going to be right back in a jiffy. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we are back from the break. Tech Foul here talking about HBO's Hard Knocks. We talked about episode 3 already. We will be talking about, continuing talking about episode 4 and then getting to episode 5 during this half of the show. So Tim started off with a shot, it looks like, to get us going.
No, bro. Okay.
Yeah, I remember grinding my feet on Eddie Murphy's couch.
Yeah, I grinded my feet on Eddie Murphy's couch. Hey man, I ain't judging you. Live your life, bro.
I was just cracking up because that shit was on. I walked in the house and that part of the show, well, not that part, but like Rick James was on there just kind of finishing up that bit and was like, here I am sitting here reminiscing about Charlie Murphy kicking my ass. Oh yeah. Oh,
for the world to hear at that, but
that's Ken talking about 20 years from now, talking about the dissolution of the podcast.
That was
why gotta be me?
He said it's gonna be anybody.
Because you know it's gonna make a joke how to get in a fight.
They wouldn't shut without me. I got all the odds.
David Ruffin.
Yeah, I am talking about Tim Kinsey whooping my ass. Ain't that a bitch?
But no, okay. So episode 4, as we were talking about, we got a chance to kind of go in the room with the coaches when we learned they had a different offensive coordinator. As they're starting to talk about players and who's going, who should make the team and who shouldn't, and they're talking about Craig Reynolds, and they're like, no, we love him. Like, if we cut him, it's going to be some offensive linemen coming to the door like, yo, what did you do? Like, I was like, that's fascinating. Like, I've always wanted to kind of be a fly on the wall with personnel conversations. Like, that's so interesting to me.
Like, why'd you come to the decision you came to?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it'd be, and we've seen enough Hard Knocks where sometimes you'd be like, okay, I see what you're seeing, coach. Like, no, the motherfucker can't catch a cold. Fast as shit. Can't catch shit. Like, but then there's other times you be like, bro, no, he was like cooking in preseason, like, and what was the reason why we can't keep him? Why can't we keep him at the back of the bench as the 6th lineman or the 5th linebacker or whatever? How many linebackers are we trying to hold on to? Like, how long? You know what I mean? Because like we just came to the 50-man roster cuts recently in real life, right?
Mhm.
Well, I guess the show coincides with it, but it's one of those things where like, okay, you got guys that come back on the practice squad, and that's not that many; it's a handful. You got guys who get signed to other practice squads, but again, the dudes that you've had all preseason ain't really the ones that you signed into the practice squads because they coming from other practice squads. Yeah, you got your scouts and shit, but all of this shit just like it's kind of wild how it. Sometimes you plan on keeping 6 linebackers, hypothetically. You plan on keeping 6 linebackers, but then you got 3 offensive linemen that's playing outstanding. So now you go from 6 linebackers, like, okay, damn, we're gonna hold on to 2 running backs total. And put 1 on the practice squad to hold on to these other cats who's playing phenomenal now just from training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm with you. Like it's kind of weird to see how fast. Like it seemed like it could switch on the dime, kind of like WWE. Like, hey, yeah, we planned on this, but shit, it is what it is.
I mean, I would have. I was gonna say I would imagine that it's like you have your positional minimums where it's like we got to carry at least X, Y, and Z. 2 running backs, 1 quarterback, 3 receivers, whatever. Like you have your bare minimum, and then like it kind of depends on. Is this a person that we can develop long term? Is this somebody that we got to worry about like injury protection? Is this somebody that can play special? Like it's so much into it beyond like just these positional designations. So like you got to have like a bare minimum, but I think that there is some wiggle room. And then it's like, okay, well, there's this guy that we really liked in the draft, and there's a chance he could get cut, and we actually like him more than the guy that we've had because he has more natural talent or he fits our scheme better or whatever it is. Like they're juggling much more than just like. This guy outplayed this guy, or it's like the little receiver Kennedy. Maybe he caught a touchdown in one of the preseason games.
Yeah, 2 touchdown games.
He was like, "You did everything right. It's just like we had to take other things into consideration. Like we needed an outside guy, we needed a taller guy, we didn't need another slot guy because obviously they got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what I mean? Like so, it's like you did everything right. It's just like there's no way we can keep you because we have all these other things that we have to weigh against it."
Yeah, and that's what I was going to kind of say, because I was like, when I was watching it, it wasn't surprising to me how quickly they were changing up. It's just the conversation of how they're evaluating talent is really interesting to me, because you have to look at it like minimum position minimals, of course, but also like Tim was saying, some people might be like, yo, ideally we want to have 6 wide receivers going into camp, but maybe an offensive lineman plays so well where you're like, well, he's more valuable than us having that 6 wide receivers. So like we're gonna actually go with this lineman over this receiver. So like that's super interesting to me, and I love those conversations for sure.
And as they show, like even if you make the original 53-man roster, like other moves around the league can necessitate like, oh sorry, you actually are getting cut. Because Lau made it technically.
Yeah,
but then. He didn't. Like they're living and breathing things.
Like I mean, he still got picked up, but still, it's like that's quite the journey.
And I always look at it. I look at it as like as the actual like coaching staff. Like you don't watch this kid, like you're rooting for him, but then like, damn, I got to sit here and like have that conversation with you. Like I know that has to be like that has to take an emotional toll. Like on you too, just have to deliver that type of news. Like we was talking about Pimp, like with him, he was like, he kept saying, "Oh, I'm good." Like his sister called him, was like, "Yeah, mom told me," and he was like, "Oh, I'm good." Like he kept saying, "Oh, I'm good, I'm good." He kept saying, "I'm blessed to have the opportunity. I'm blessed." But I was like, "You a little salty too, bro. Like it's cool to feel like that, But I like how he was, trying to like stay positive about the whole thing or whatever, but you gonna be salty. You put your heart and soul into it, like.
And I feel like when he got to the Giants, like then he kind of let it drop a little bit. Like, yeah, I was kind of like,
yeah,
it was kind of devastating. You know what I mean? Like, so all those conversations did feel a little perfunctory, a little bit. Like,
just to pause you, the conversations when they're actually cutting the players is episode 5. So in 4, it's more so you're seeing the coaches and the evaluators, and all of them are kind of just talking about what they're thinking about doing. We, as the viewers, already knew what the outcome were because they're all a week behind when it's in live time. But I do want to just call that out. That's episode 5.
Okay.
But if we're talking about it, we might as well just move into episode 5.
Mhm.
Tim, do you have any more notes in your phone from episode 4 before we move on? Because
No.
your notes are actually kind of funny. Aw. All right. That's cool. So, episode 5, as we kind of already alluded to, episode 5 of Hard Knocks, you see the final team construction get made up. You see who it's going to be. And as Kim was mentioning, and Eric, like, you got to see the conversations that the coaching staff had with these players as they're cutting them. And yeah, Eric, you were mentioning that some of the conversations felt like kind of performative or something along those lines. Did you want to elaborate on that?
Just more so like everybody, when you go into that meeting, you know what you're supposed to say. Like, I don't feel like anybody's speaking really from the heart. It's more so, you know, we really liked you. It really sucks that we got to let you go, but, you know, it's the business and hopefully you catch on somewhere. You know, maybe we'll circle back around. Like, we know you, we like you, blah, blah, blah. And then the player says, you know, I understand it's a business. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. Good luck and everything. Like, you know, like that's just like how the conversation, like both sides know what they're going to say before they go in there. Because like if you're getting called to the office, like, you know, oh, they cut me. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think that it's hard. And I think that relationships are formed and like there are, you know, like as a coach, like your job is to put your all into these players, like whoever they are, whether they're just a camp body or the first round pick. And so, like, there is probably a part of it that is like, oh man, this really sucks, especially coming from former players. But I think like what we saw isn't necessarily like an accurate representation of like how these two people actually feel coming out of that meeting.
I can see where your cynicism comes in at with the cameras being there, but I also think it could be just more along the lines of they're being professional in the moment because they know. One, they know that it's being recorded. So two, they also try and get another job. So it's like, I'm not going to go in here. I'm not going to act up. Like if I got fired from my job, I'm probably not going to act up. Like I'm just going to be like,
no kidding.
I wouldn't say it was because they were on Hard Knocks. I'm saying like I think that that's just what you do when you get cut from the NFL. I think that's how it goes. But I think that really like Pimpleton, like I think he was pissed or he was sad. Like I think that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, or like Zadarius Smith, like, no, I'm gonna make you regret like this decision. Like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna kill this fucking team because you know, like that's what they do when they get to a new team. So, I think that that's just like kind of like it's textbook. Like when you're in a job interview, like you know, like the kind of script that you're supposed to have going back and forth. Like,
right.
Whether that's you know, I'm a hard worker, I'm a multitasker, I'm a blah blah blah. Like. Really, it's like, no, I'm gonna slack off and I'm gonna try to get by with it.
I have my days,
you know? Right? Yeah, I might be late a couple times. No, I'm punctual. I'm always there. I'm first one in, last one out.
I stay late. You don't expect me to see. Don't see me. No, I won't be here. I'll be here past 5. Coach.
I'll be the first one here too.
I'll be the last one out the building.
You know what was a cool story though? Chase Lucas. And if you remember in the preseason opener, he dropped the interception that could have clinched the game for him. But then in the final preseason game, he recovered the onside kick. Super geeked about it. Like, yeah, like it's just like his arc of his growth of as a character, not as a character, like it's a TV show. I mean, it is, you know what I'm saying? A scripted show. His growth through the preseason was really cool to watch, and to see him actually make the team and like talk to his coach. Like, do you really think I could be like, you know, a real starting level NFL cornerback? And coach is like, you wouldn't be here if we didn't think you were. Like, own that, believe in that. And I was like, that's real. I don't know about y'all and y'all professions, but there are definite times where I be at tables and I'm like, how am I even here right now? Should I be here? What are they even talking about sometimes? And I'm just pretend I'm gonna figure this out. Like I'm gonna show you I need to be at this table. But sometimes that imposter syndrome really kick in where you just be like, I don't even know how I got here.
You just gotta remember.
Like for me, it's like I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, like I realize that that's everybody. Like everybody at your job probably feels that way. It's like we all just figuring it out. So like I don't feel like I'm out of place, you know, in that regard. It's just like they hired you to do a job, you know, do it to your best of your ability because we all just trying to make it through. Like, and that's apropos of nothing for the show. It's just like the way I look at it with the imposter syndrome stuff.
Man, I wish I had your confidence, fam.
it was throwing me off because Chase Young, what's his name?
Lucas.
Chase Lucas. He looked like Gary Payton. It's like like every time he's on the screen, I'm like, GB2.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did y'all?
I was scared for him. You said what?
I said, go ahead, sir.
Oh no, I was scared for him for a second because I thought he had got hurt in episode 3, I believe, when they was playing the Colts, and towards the end of the game, and he had that he tripped up with the lineman and stuff like that. He was kind of oh, bro, not a non-contact. I was like, I just take this contact. I'm like, but damn, no, not like this, not like this. Thankfully, he was good, and he showed improvement, man. Like some cats, you could just it takes that conversation. It takes the words of encouragement sometimes to kind of validate some things, not everything. Like folks get to a point where you've grown enough to where you know, hey, I'm either you're doing a good job or not, whatever the case may be. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to hear it from somebody else, just to kind of feel in that validation, because that can either be the tipping point between you either working harder or you just kind of like leaning into, all right, I'm complacent, I'm chilling, I'm gonna be here. Because I don't hear it from nobody if I'm doing good consistently. I don't need you to tell me every single day good, but if I never hear it, I never know. You know what I mean? Like, so for you to kind of come up like, no, like, man, can I really be a star in this league? Like, can I have to really start in this league? Like, it's not that many dudes that make this league, and I'm already here. And you telling me I can be one of the best as a starter in this league? Yeah. You know, you wouldn't be here if you wouldn't. Cool. I'm gonna keep on working then. I'm gonna keep pushing, and I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna prove you right. Like, if you got that faith in me, cool. I needed to hear that. Not everybody's like that way, but some people need that.
Yeah.
But also don't fish for compliments. But that's neither here nor there.
What's the saying? Don't blow smoke up my ass.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, don't tell me something ain't true. Like, don't just be telling me stuff
exactly.
that sound good. Like,
Don't just be setting me up.
Yeah, if you really believe in me, then tell me you believe in me. But if you don't, you can just keep that to yourself. Then, like,
Exactly.
if it's real,
What I need to work on? Like, hey, you can do it if you do this. Okay, cool. I'll do that. I'll work on that then. Don't tell me I can't. Don't tell me you fucking suck. Like, damn, cut me then, man.
But there are some people that respond to that. Like, they need you to kind of challenge them to, like, motivate them. Like, they want to prove in spite of, like, oh, you don't believe in me? But you know, Michael Jordan, basically. Like, Michael Jordan can invent
a lot of chip on shoulder athletes where it's like they look for that edge to really push themselves. It was cool though to see Easy, although he got cut, to see them tell him off top like, hey yo, we want to bring you back to the practice squad if you clear waivers. I don't recall them saying it to anyone else in the cuts that we got to see on camera. You know, like, hey, we want to bring you back. And they actually were able to. So it's really cool that this guy who came to America 7 years ago was able to capitalize and get a chance to keep developing with the NFL team and took a shot on him. And the way the practice squads are, it's kind of just like having an extended roster, really.
Mm-hmm.
It helps.
Rodrigo.
I think it was the 13 players or something like that.
I think they signed 13, but they still have 3 spots open.
They did sign Tim Boyle back to the practice squad.
Tim Boyle or
Boyle.
Blau?
Blau was in Minnesota.
No, Blau they intended to, but then he went with Minnesota instead.
With Minnesota.
Yeah, but then after that, then they're like, all right, Tim, come back.
And like you said, somebody, even though he may not be the most athletic or the most gifted, like Tim Boyle, he's been around long enough now where he knows the job. He can come in, be a professional about it. You want me on the practice squad? Sure. Bring me back on the practice squad. I'll lead your practice squad team. Don't ask me to rush shit. Don't ask me to I ain't Lamar, I ain't emulating Kyle or none of that shit. But I'll give you these pocket QBs, which is fine. He'll hit him with the check downs and things like that.
That reminds me of the Colts game because they were like, oh, hey, look who's in the. I think it was Chase Lucas. Hey, look who's in the game. It's number 3. He ain't running at all. Like that motherfucker ain't moving at all. Like.
We had a guest appearance during episode 5, Mr. Detroit.
Eminem. He brought some of his mom's cooking through.
Brought some mom's spaghetti.
Hey, that spaghetti look dry as shit.
Bro went back for 2. He went back for 2nd.
Bro,
Like,
dry ass spaghetti, bro.
I know
Hey.
we don't blow the whistle on this show, but like when that kid was talking about like y'all eating tails, like bro, if you ain't never had an oxtail, I don't want to hear your mouth. So do not bad mouth oxtail in my presence. Oxtail is delicious.
Jamaican food, period.
Right, like boy, if you don't expand your palate,
Right.
just try
y'all
it.
eating tail. It's meat.
Just try it.
Ugh.
Just try it.
Like bro, you a grown ass man.
I was like, it's just goofy ass.
I think so. They heard the just the name like oxtail, where you just be like, what? Because I remember when I first heard it, I was like, wait, oxtail? Like what?
But if everybody's telling you it's delicious, like
I mean, people tell me a lot of things are delicious. As a picky eater, they be lying half the time. So, but I will say oxtail is actually pretty good. Yeah, Mom's Spaghetti, in case y'all didn't know, is actually a restaurant in Detroit. Like it's, you can literally go to Mom's Spaghetti and get some spaghetti. That's all they sell, I believe, is spaghetti.
Oh, him and the
Spaghetti
coach had
meatballs.
rolling. Bro walked up, started shaking his hand. So how long we gonna be doing this? I was like, oh yeah, we gonna keep on. Oh, okay. You right.
and
I
that's
was like-
Aubrey Pleasant. Like he was a former NFL player. Like it's crazy to be like they still like fan out over. I mean, it's Eminem. I get it, but I'm just saying like you ain't like you've done some things in your life. You still like, oh my god, Eminem, like so nice to meet you. I'm so, like you like a teenager again.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
One thing I thought
I
was
don't
cool too was seeing Amon-Ra St. Brown and his family going to the immersive Van Gogh experience. I don't know if y'all have gone to those.
No,
type
it
of-
looked dope.
I think the Monet exhibit is still going on here in Milwaukee, the
Okay.
immersive one. So me and the mayor, my husband, went to go to the Van Gogh one, and it was just as dope as it was looking on TV. Like it's an experience. Then they started speaking in German, and I was like, okay, bilingual.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Guten
that's what's up.
You said Guten Tag?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably all I could. Wait, what does that even mean in German again?
I don't know.
Welcome or something.
Man, just saying a word, you don't know what it means.
I've seen
German,
people
yeah.
get console and then
It's a great.
Oh, you was breaking up, sir.
He's Mr. Roboto.
Mr. E.
It's good or good afternoon.
Ah, okay.
Good day.
One thing that
I was saying it's a greeting because like before I said it's hello, and then Tim looked it up and it wasn't hello, and I'm like, well, it's a greeting. It's like how they.
No, that's salute in German.
you remember that one? You remember that one?
Hey, Tim was the expert out here.
For a little while, for a couple weeks, Tim was out here.
He was the expert out
I'm not gonna
here.
lie, that in hindsight, it was fun. In the moment, I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
It was you said it, and we ran with it. But no,
Right.
real quick. though, 'cause we're
How many
running
do you
out of
still
time.
have? Oh, sorry.
Shit. Kia Ora is still what the fuck is that? What was Kia Ora? It was
That was like New Zealand, wasn't it?
yes, it was New Zealand.
Was it New Zealand?
Yeah, it was New Zealand. And then it was what was the other one that we had?
Hey, we're gonna give you the one thing. We're gonna keep
Yeah.
rolling. Though.
Keep on rolling. Damn.
Be
But
here
no,
all night.
Right. One thing that was interesting to me in this episode was when they mentioned the fact that their best-selling jersey was Hutchinson. You know, they knew number one, they knew rookie, and number two was Malcolm Rodriguez. And I was like, look at the Hard Knocks effect on the jersey sales.
I don't know about that one. So, like, Dan Campbell was like, "Oh yeah, man, what does that say about our fan base?" I'm like, "It don't say what you think it says about your fan base."
What do you think it says?
They see two white players and they happy that they can buy their jersey.
Well, I didn't. I definitely didn't look at it.
I
like
ain't think that either. That
well,
makes
for the
sense.
Hutchinson, in large part, because Hutchinson, like he's
Hutchinson
from
makes sense. He's from there. I'm just saying,
And then
like
Rodriguez.
the lunch meal,
like,
the gritty guy, like, oh, it's our new Malcolm Dellavedova.
but Rodriguez ain't he Latino?
Half.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy! All right, I'm not going down that road. But
You asked.
with that, those two having the top jersey sales. I also saw later on that the Lions home opener against the Eagles is sold out. let me find the actual report that Fox Sports had put out. They said, quote, the Detroit Lions home opener versus Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday is sold out. Only standing room tickets are available. This is the first time since 2019 that a game has standing room only, and the first time the Lions have offered standing room tickets in a non-Thanksgiving game since 2017.
Good for them.
Now, I want to ask you guys this, and I want you all to answer it. Do y'all think that the influx of ticket sales for this home opener is, one, a Hard Knocks effect? Because people are seeing the show, seeing how they sold Detroit, seeing all this, like, yeah, look, this is a team I can support. Like, they got the grit, as we heard every episode multiple times. Like, they reeled Detroit. Like, I want to go see them play. Two, Hutchinson effect, where it's like, is Detroit coming out to support Michigan? And it's like, we've seen this kid grow up in our state. We want to come see him play. Or three, Eagles fans travel really, really well. And it's actually going to be more Eagles fans in the building than it will be Lions fans, or at least a very large contingent of Eagles fans that helped make this game a sellout. Because if you know anything about Philly sports, you know they travel well. So really quickly, we're going to go around and y'all let me know which one you think, or if it's a mix of those.
I think it's a combination of all three. But I think
Yeah.
Hard Knocks probably was like the thing that took it over the top. Like the other two would have happened either way, but I think that, you know, the Hard Knocks like that is what gave it about that. That was the multiplier. I don't know.
I think that, like you said, Hard Knocks I'll give credit to, because I feel like a lot of the fans, based on how Hard Knocks looks, will think that this season is going to be like crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the team's passion, the coaches, the personnel that's there now. Yeah, you cut some rookies or whatever the case may be, but your starters ain't the ones that you really been having to hear issues about. It's just kind of been all in the backstory and stuff like that. And I guess, and they finally won a preseason game. They won one in 8 preseasons.
So you think it's more? You think it's more the Hard Knocks effect?
Yeah, I think the Hard Knocks effect giving the fans more.
It's the biggest boost of it.
Like it's, I don't mean to be as respectfully as I can, a disillusion of greener pastures this season for this team.
I feel it. I'm cutting you off because we run out of time. But Ken, which one do you think it is, or do you think it's a combo?
Yeah, combo wall.
Do you think it leans
more? It lean more to Hard Knocks, I would say.
I'm gonna be the rebel. I think it's gonna be a lot of Philly fans in that building, and people are gonna be disappointed when they turn that game on, thinking it's gonna be a loud Detroit contingent. As a Bucs fan, I know how Philly fans travel, because they came here for a game just to boo Malcolm Brogdon, and then he didn't play, and they booed Tony Snell the whole game instead. So,
plus 44-6 last year.
Yeah, it should be a good game. So they gonna be geared up. I know the Lions already said, like, we remember last year, and we have something to prove. Like, we want to come out and we want to show something. So we'll see if they can do it. We're gonna do our outros and get up out of here. But before we do, I'm gonna just go around real quick. 1 to 5, how do you rate this season of Hard Knocks? Tim?
4.
Eric?
3.
Ken?
4.
I'll give it a solid 4 too. They had really good personalities to me on this.
Shout out to Jamal Williams.
Yeah, and the coaches were fun too. All the former players, like, I thought it was a pretty good mix. So I give it a good 4. But that concludes our recap of Hard Knocks. We hope that y'all enjoyed. If you have not already listened to our full weekly show, make sure that you check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. We are everywhere with our weekly show. If you're an NFL fan, join our FanDuel League or our Pick'em Pool League. You'll see the information in the comments and the description as well of this episode. And football is back, baby. Let's have some fun with that. So with all that being said, we're going to get out of here. And if you want to follow me on my personal social media, you can catch me.
Wait a minute.
On the Twitter, Instagram, PSN streets, because 2K come out tonight, as you hear it is. At Camille Monet, CAMILLEMONAE.
At your Milwaukee Bucks burner on Twitter.
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
Everyday _ gentleman on Instagram. K Harris 216 on Twitter and Snapchat.
And it's your boy, TIMKINZ, the number 3, aka Ass Ketchum, aka Mr. Give It To Me. Say la vie. Happy football season. We are baby. Dun 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 dun.
Boom, 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 boom.
Peace out, y'all.